The brain has two systems of thinking, depending which book you read or which of my coaches you listen to. You'll hear it referred to in different ways. So Peter Lakovich has taught it like red brain, green brain. My sports psychologist, Cameron Norsworthy, he calls it thinking brain, being brain. I'm gonna go with this one for this video. So the thinking brain is much more logical. It's more process orientated. It's very like feature, analytical, rational, and logical. And it's significantly slower. It actually has, I can't remember the exact statistic. Cameron's going to kill me for not remembering, but let's say 100 times less processing power than the being brain. Now, the being brain evolved first. It's more, think reptilian, right? So think emotions, think story as well is where the being brain really kind of sits. Now, what we need to do is because the being brain has like something like 100 or 1,000 times more processing power than the thinking brain, we need to essentially distract the thinking brain so we can easily slip into the being brain. Now, one of the most easy ways to slip into the being brain and unlock more processing power is actually just movement. So you'll notice in quite a lot of my ads, I'm usually moving around. I might be fiddling with a pen. I might be like fiddling with the microphone. It's quite funny. So I'll tell you a funny story. So I was with Cameron just yesterday actually, and we were trying to solve this problem. It was actually on the whiteboard over there. I drive to his house and then we usually go for a walk. The walk helps for sure. And then as he came out of his house, he gave me this little mini basketball. It's about this big. And he like gave it to me and then I kind of threw it back to him. And he was like, no, that's for you to just like play with. I was like, okay. And so we're going through this walk and I'm just like bouncing this little basketball around. And as I'm doing that, I literally solved a problem which I was trying to solve for like an entire fortnight. And all it was, and he explained it to me. He goes, well, yeah, your thinking brain is being distracted by trying to like play with this ball. And so because the thinking brain is being distracted with this, as you're trying to solve this other problem, you're slipping into your being brain. And so movement is one of the easiest ways to unlock more processing power. My voice coach, Deanna Cooney, she always says that an active body is an active mind. And so what I see a lot of people do as a mistake when they're filming their ads is they sit very upright and then they're kind of tense, or they stand there like this, and because they're tense and they're not moving, their brain isn't active, right? Cameron even taught me that even if you're like sitting at a desk, even just like moving pens around on the desk can actually achieve a very similar effect. So you'll see in some of my ads, I'll like play with nunchucks, I'll be like throwing stuff around, I'll be playing with whiteboard markers. Often I'm pacing around. I'm kind of lazy now and I've kind of nailed it, to be honest. And now I just sit in one place and just rip out 40 ads in 41 minutes. But your goal is to kind of just fiddle with like a pen or a ball or something like that, so you can unlock more processing power, distract that thinking brain, and unlock more processing power with your being brain. Now that we've unlocked more processing power with the being brain, we want to actually deliver. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at this list of 50 ad ideas that ChatGPT generated. And then we're going to look at them. Some of them are going to be really good. Often what it can be good at is if you give it like 5 ideas, it will draw connections with other ones. Sometimes it will be really, really good. Sometimes it will just miss the mark completely. So don't use ChatGPT as the be all and end all single source of truth of ads that are going to do well. It's simply not. We're just using it as an ideation process. And then you look at these points and go, interesting ad, right? So if I do one for Where You, it might spit out an idea like, usually lead quality would be something that pops up for Where You all the time, right? So then what we might talk about is we can get specific. So it might be show rate would be an issue. So what we simply want to do is just talk about that issue at the start. And then just all you have to do is just talk about your service, elaborate on it, and then just find a way to verbally find your way to click below to learn more. So if I was just to rip an ad about show rates just off the top of the dome, it will be something like, a lot of the service-based business owners that come to us for help, they complain about their show rates. They're running a call funnel. However, only 1 out of every 4 people that books a call is actually showing up. They're clogging up time in your calendar. They're clogging up time in your sales rep's calendar. And you know, if you even just got to 50% show rates, you will double the business. And that's why this and then I'd go into, like, let's say it's a webinar. And that's why this Thursday, I'm going to be showing you the 3 things that you need to do to double your show rate and effectively double the business without spending any more money on ads. So if you want to learn how to do that, click below to learn more. Now, I wouldn't edit out if you go like a sentence beforehand and you might replay it. Double the business without spending any more money on ads. I kind of fumbled over my words a little bit. I would simply just leave that in. In fact, Aiden, clip in that, the one where I had the actual brain aneurysm. I'll see you on Zoom. Click it below. I'll see you this Thursday. That ad still worked as well.